So a lot of people ask me about the audition process. How'd I get this gig? How'd I get that gig? Let me break it down for you. Okay, first off, let me tell you this. Not all auditions are equal. There are many kinds of auditions for the gigs, and sometimes you don't even have to audition. Here's the main thing to keep in mind for, I want to say, about 90% of the auditions out there. The artist, the production, they already have in mind the kind of musician they want. They already know what they're looking for. They already know what kind of look and style they're going for. They already know if they want the new guy to be a party guy or a sober guy. Here's where I'm going with this. If you don't get the gig, it's fine. Move on. I know it's a bummer, but if you weren't the right person they were looking for, it's not a big deal unless you make it a big deal. You'll get the next gig. You have any idea how many auditions actors go on? We got nothing on them. Here are the different types of auditions. Number one is the cattle call. It's been a long time since I've been to a cattle call type of audition, mainly because of my age. Usually the cattle calls are going to happen more for musicians in their 20s and under. I feel like as you grow older and have more of a career path, you get more known for what you do and who you are. And then you usually get calls for specifically those types of gigs. But anyway, a cattle call is when they have like 20 or 30 of you showing up every hour. Musician after musician after musician. Sometimes this goes on for days until they find what they're looking for. Sometimes it's just a few intense hours of auditions. Then they usually hold callback auditions for the musicians they're interested in. I'll tell you how to be one of those musicians in a bit. By the way, the most famous cattle call audition I've been on was for Avril Lavigne. I want to say around 2005, 2006. The second kind of audition is much more exclusive. That's when the artist, band, and production asks people they trust if they can recommend some musicians. Those chosen musicians then go up against each other for the spot. Now this audition can be in person or through video. The most famous auditions I had this way were Daughtry and Enrique Iglesias. I didn't get the Daughtry gig, but I did get the Enrique gig, and it was an honor to tour with him for all those years. When I auditioned for Daughtry, there were only 10 of us to choose from, and I believe there were only 4 or 5 of us guitarists for the Enrique auditions in 2015. Now, as I mentioned before, the third kind is the one where you don't even audition. You're just the right guy for the job, and someone recommended you, and boom, that's it, you're in. And you better bring it if you want to keep that gig. Your performance is actually your audition. No matter which of these you find yourself in, there are a few ways to stand out above the crowd. Know your parts inside out. Many times you'll be auditioning without the singer or the main melody, so don't depend on those as markers for where you are in the song. Also, make sure you've got the right arrangement for the song. They might be playing the live arrangement of the audition, not the album arrangement. So make sure you're learning the correct arrangement and make sure you know it well enough to where if the singer just wants to watch you and doesn't want to sing, you know where you are at all times. Because you played this song hundreds of times and you know every little part, even without the singing. If things change when you get on stage, adapt. No one wants to hear your, "Oh, I was working on the album arrangement. You guys are playing the live arrangement?" Now, even if that's the case, just adapt. Make light of it, joke it off, and adapt real quick to the circumstances. The only way you should say that line I just mentioned is when it's followed by, "No worries though, tell me real quick what the arrangement is, I got this." Adapt and show confidence, but don't come off as arrogant. Play the part. One last thing about musicianship. For the most part, you're usually coming in to serve a purpose. For example, the bassist just left the gig, you're auditioning for the bass position. Match the vibe, sounds, and parts as best as you can. They're looking for you to replace the bass player, not do your own interpretation of what you think the bass should be playing. Yes, over time, you can definitely bring in your personal vibes to the parts, but for now, they're most likely looking for the exact same style of playing, parts, and tones. This is what they know, this is what they're comfortable with, so make sure to give it to them. Personality. Look, this one's tough. Sometimes personalities just aren't a match. They're looking for a party kind of person, you've been sober for 7 years. Or vice versa, their drummer just got out of rehab and they're planning a super clean tour, so no drugs or alcohol, and you love getting a little buzz on before you get on stage. The key thing here is to choose your path. You either adapt to the gig and do stuff you normally wouldn't do just to be on stage with that artist. Or you stay true to who you are and just accept that this wasn't a match. On to the next one. This one's your call. You decide what's right for you. How to dress. I'd recommend to always dress for the occasion. Do some research if you can, find out what the band usually wears. Make sure to check out their candid pics, not the ones that are staged and styled. Find the ones of the singer on a day-to-day hanging with their friends, wearing what they like. Then, dress like that. Or don't. I'm just saying it might earn you some points. Remember, auditions are super awkward for everyone. They don't know you, you don't know them, but everyone's trying to gauge each other and figure out each other's vibe in 10 minutes of playing together and talking. So if wearing the clothing they vibe with and feel comfortable with is something that lowers the tension in the room, I'm all about it. Gear. Now this is an interesting one. I'd say just make sure you know what to bring with you. Ask in advance. As a guitarist, they might say, we have an amp for you, just bring any pedals you want. For a drummer, they might say, we've got everything, don't bring anything extra. It is completely appropriate for you to ask, and you should. Show up early and stay late if you can. Now, showing up early is always a good thing, always. You may get a chance to bump into someone in the band and click even before you get into the audition. You might bump into some old friends and make some new ones. If you bump into some old friends, it might actually lower the anxiety about the whole thing and make you calmer before you go into the audition. So always show up early. And then, after your audition, if you don't need to head out right away, I recommend staying in the area. Feel it out. They might audition 2 more people and be like, hey, where's that Israeli guitarist? Is he still around? Can we have him play with the drummer we just auditioned? You can't know what's going to happen unless they specifically ask you to stick around for a bit, which happens. I'm just saying if you don't have to split right away, it could be in your favor to just chill there for a bit. I think these are the key ingredients for nailing your auditions. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, sub, and comment. Help me with those YouTube algorithms. I'll catch you next week.